I'm up really early this morning thinking about some things that our clients have said in our membership lately. And I just want to kind of um, tell you what's been on my mind and on my heart and the conversations that we've been having in our membership. So, if I handed you $50,000 today, what would you do with it? I want you to really think about that. Because we had a conversation in our membership the other week about investing in your business and the amounts of money that some women have spent and what they are seeing in the online space right now. So I agree that you investing in yourself and your business is extremely important if you want to continue to grow. And you also need to know your numbers and your business vision to be able to invest in a smart and sustainable way for your business. So, what we're used to seeing is all these big numbers from everybody, like their launches, their huge launches, the money that they're making, their Stripe deposits, the money that they're investing, and all of the things in between, right? So, we're desensitized in this industry by seeing all of these giant numbers, so investing giant amounts of money isn't a big deal anymore. But like what could you do with, let's say, $15,000 that you're about to spend on a coaching program? What could you do with that amount of money? What could you do that would make you feel steady and secure about money? Because I want you to remember, we are in a special bubble when it comes to who you are following online, the types of businesses that you're following, the types of personalities that you're following, right? We are in a bubble. And so, like, the rest of the world isn't thinking about money exactly the way that we are, which is okay. We are pro investing when it is time to invest, when it's the right person for the exact gap that we have in our business. So I want you to hear that. That's three criteria that we make sure all three are true before we invest in our business. So it's the right time for the with the right person or coach or whoever for the exact gap that we have identified in our business, right? So if one or two of those are missing, we choose not to invest or we delay or we find a different solution right now. So Marley and I are pro investing when it makes sense. And hear me when I say there are times where we have gone all in on something and it didn't quite make sense. But we are also women who take calculated risks. So it's not just a risk like jumping off of a cliff. We take calculated risks. What happens worst case scenario with this? Great. Are we prepared for that? Can we handle that? What happens best case scenario? Great. Are we prepared for that? Is there anywhere in between that if we landed that this would work out and be okay for us? So I want you to just stop and think about things before you invest. Another thing that we hear a lot from our clients and some of the women in our DMs is like, I'm so frustrated that I'm not at a place where I can just drop $15,000 to be able to join this program or this course or this mastermind. And I want to ask you a question. And I want you to ask yourself this question. Do you need this? Or do you just want to be in the room with your friends who are also investing in this thing? And the reason I say that is because I have invested from FOMO many, many, many times. And almost every single time, I don't get out of it what I thought I was going to because I didn't do my homework. It wasn't the container for me or the person for me for my business right now. There's a caveat to that. Like, if you've listened to this podcast long enough, you'll know our stance on containers. Um, that you didn't get a ton from, we always make sure to list out the positives and what we did learn from it because there is always something. But let's go back to do you want to just be in the room with your friends? Do you feel like if your friends are all in and they're doing well, that it's the space for you also? You want to be in the room, you want to grow your business, you see the value in investing, but you're like $15,000, $50,000 with what? Like, how am I going to pay that? Are you going to put it on debt? Are you going to remortgage your home? I know a lot of people like Alex Hermosi talk about just putting all of your chips in and going for it, right? But we are seeing too many women so maxed out on debt with no way to pay it off because all of the payments that they've taken on over the last few years are outweighing what they are selling. So they owe more money than they are making. And it's really hurting their ability to sell and sell often because the debt is such a burden for them. So when you're deciding who to invest your money with, I want you to balance what you see on social media with their life. Do you want the life that they have? If you see a coach who could solve the problem in your business or doesn't have the life that you want, if you have a coach or see a coach that could solve your problem but does not have the life that you want, it's a much easier no for me. Like, I have a really good filter now to protect me from FOMO buying. So she could solve my problem, but I don't necessarily want her lifestyle. Um, then it's an easier decision for me. So I want you to look at their life and decide what you want. Ask yourself what you really want. Do you want $1 million business? Or do you want a business that just allows you to pay the bills and take vacations and be comfortable? Or do you want to land somewhere in between the two? If you find yourself getting caught in bleh, shiny object syndrome, I want you to mute everyone who is distracting you, everyone who is confusing you. We do this on a regular basis, especially when we can tell that our minds are being weighed down by what would she do? What would they do? We need to do what they're doing. That's when we know it's time to mute, mute, mute. And when I went on this rant in the membership, one of the ladies said she needed to hear this today, that it was like the thing that she needed to hear. And if she needed to hear it, you also need to hear it. But she said it's almost like a shape shifting thing that we've gone through following all of these people. I believe in possibility, I believe in abundance and all of that, but learning to balance that with the value of $50. I think we've lost the value of a dollar. We've lost the value of $50. You are a human being. You are not your business. Do you hear that? You're a human being who owns a business, but you are not your business. Did you have this business 3 or 4 or 5 years ago? If you didn't, give yourself a freaking break. You are still a baby business. And if you feel bad about not being able to drop $50,000 or $75,000 on coaching, I want you to stop. It is okay. That doesn't mean that you won't be able to do that in the future, but you need to find your people because you're going to have seasons of spending and not spending in your business. And it is okay to be in either of those seasons. So I want you to ask yourself today, what is more important to you? Having money for your family right now, because that's a reality that a lot of new business owners are in. You need to make enough right now to pay the bills right now, and that is your goal. And then you'll reach a new level where you'll be able to do that consistently for 6 months. And now you're going to shoot for another level of business. So all my bills are paid, but now I want to make sure that I have enough to pay off debt. Now I want to make sure I'm making enough consistently to invest and prepare for my future. So, in conclusion, you are allowed to dream big. Okay, we're not telling you don't dream big, don't shoot for the stars, don't go big for your business, don't go all in. But what we want you to make sure you're doing is balancing that with the reality of today. If your today reality does not align with that big dream you have, throwing money at it is probably not going to help you. I hope this is helpful. I hope that you can hear my heart and that you understand where I'm coming from. We want you to go all in. We want you to build dream businesses, whatever that dream is for you. And we also want you to not be stressed about money constantly so that you can build the business that you want, so that you can provide for your family, so that you can take vacations and invest and pay off debt and just live a really fulfilled life, knowing that your business is helping you be fulfilled. Um, and fulfill the dreams that you have for your family and for yourself. So, if you are listening to this, we would love for you to come over to Instagram and tell us what your biggest takeaway is. Or if there's something you totally disagree with, come tell us. Because I'd love to have a conversation and just hear your mind and hear what you're thinking. But thank you for listening, and we will see you on the next episode.